Hello and welcome to Ultimate General, the Civil War. If you like this sort of video, go ahead and click the like button right now and go ahead and click subscribe as well. If you want to hold your judgment to the end of the video, don't worry, I'll remind you then too. What we're going to do here, playing as the Union, is this is the video number 1 of the Battle of Shiloh. Shiloh is a pretty long battle. I don't want to do this as one, so when there's logical places to stop it, that's where I'll stop it. So we're going to go ahead and skip this as normal, and it will start us to the first part. Again, we're skipping this. Ultimately, we have to save this. It tells us that we want to come down here and, drive them off and, defend against them down here. We're not. What we're going to do instead is we're going to sit up here as much as we can above the water and on this hill and see if we can't shoot them right as they try to cross the river and as they come up. We have some across already. We don't want them there. We want them on this side. And this is going to be more or less right. We'll fine-tune it in a little bit. These are pretty powerful cannon. They're actually have good long range, and they're good out in the open. So we can protect them back here without any problems. Move the general down here, and we'll go ahead and go forward and pretty quickly, and we'll see how this starts to line up. Because the game is expecting us to move our forces forward to start having a conflict down there, the Confederates start farther back, and it's going to take them a while to walk up here. So we do have time to make sure we have everything aligned exactly like we want it to. Now, it's hard to see, especially since it's green on green. You might see a little bit of a green line, or maybe you see it crossing the water right there. That's about where we want things. Right in the middle of the water is when they'll start taking their first shots. Move these guys down. Same thing. The river bends. These guys are about right, but I want to kind of angle it a little bit so it's kind of matching that. Same thing. These guys are doing pretty good. Pretty good first guess alignment on my part. And these guys are all nice and undercover. So we've got the buff of the hill, we've got the buff of the water, and we've got better guns than they do. Now I managed, it took a lot. You had to use some of the little victory points, or I don't know what they're called. They normally would go to morale the higher you get. You can spend them on things. And I spent prestige points, maybe what they're called. I don't know. But at any rate, I used it for money and for some weapons so I could replenish these guys because I kind of wore them down a little bit more than I anticipated. These guys can be seen, so I know that something's coming. So that's why I slowed it down. We'll slow it down or speed it up a little bit until we actually see them. But they see us. There they are. Slow that down. And we got our first shots off at them. We've already killed 43 of them. Now we're going to back these guys up ever so slightly so both of these brigades can start firing at them. And this also gives this guy some cover. So 90 and 25, and they've killed 7. So we've got some pretty decent advantage on them right now. And yeah, I filled the other ranks basically with just crappier guns. Sold what we didn't need to make up as much money as I could for supplies. And so economically we may not be as sound, but I think the army is fine for this battle. We'll find out. These guys are barely, they're barely holding on. Go ahead and move these guys over. Move these guys back. We get another shot off at them, even better. Go ahead, try. There we go. Keep them running. So, let's see. We lost 1 there. We lost 11 there. 12. And again, 217 and 81. So, decent odds. Or not odds. Ratio. I always call that odds, which is kind of odd. All right, I'm going to speed this up a little bit until something happens again. It looks like something is going to shortly. The cannon are certainly seeing something. A little bit of cavalry right there. It seems like when I use cavalry in this game, it's not really all to that great effect, but they use it for kind of getting in the way, which maybe if I used it for that, it would work better, but loves to get my supplies. It it's all right. These guys are coming at it again for whatever reason. We're going to go ahead and take a bunch of them. Take a bunch of them down again. We are going to totally aim at this cavalry if we can. I want to take as many of them out if we can just reduce them to nothing. Like I said, they're just a nuisance. There's some more, so if they come up, I'm these guys are in the water. All of these guys have a shot on them. So, I mean, they're coming up with these huge forces. But, you know, right now they're not that organized. They can barely get shots off, much less a volley. These guys are getting a solid volley off, which is, it's 10-1. 10-1 death rate. All right, we have reinforcements coming up. These guys aren't very strong, but they don't necessarily need to be all that strong. They just need to be there at all. And good, we knocked down some of that cavalry. Those, like I said, the men on horses kind of annoy me throughout this adventure, and so the more of those that I see falling off the horses, the better I feel about it. I just really hate to think about having to, think about where's my supply wagon at, every moment. So ideally, what I want to do with these generals is I want to maximize the amount of brigades that are covering them, and same with this guy. So that gives a morale boost to my troops, which keeps them, makes them less likely to run. And more likely to, keep firing at effective rates and things like that. So it's very nice to have that, especially, when there are troops that are getting a lot of damage. And this guy's got double over, he has both generals right now. I don't know how much that helps, but his morale's right at the top. Like I said, they've definitely taken damage. There's no doubt that they're taking damage, or my guys are here taking damage, but they're definitely giving better than they're getting. So I got to be happy with the results, at least so far, of this. Coming up with forces. I will so take that on. If I can't get you, I'll get you. Come on, destroy them. Destroy them. Please destroy them. Well, not enough. Hopefully the next shot is. I really want to get rid of the cavalry if I can. It doesn't look like I'm going to this time, but wow. I am not displeased with this so far. We've got a long way to go. There's a lot more of this battle, and this is just the first part of this part of the battle. But right now, everything that they have been throwing at us, we've just reduced in size greatly. Oh, not everything. And a lot of them are just having difficulty throwing volleys together. I mean, we've just decimated this guy. Well, we did way more than decimate him. We've almost halved him. Second Corps is coming up again. These guys aren't strong. I think they may have... They have whatever I had left over in the armory. So probably 1842s, and we may have some farmer rifles and stuff like that out here. Which is what these guys have, and it's not doing them a lot of good, but I wanted to get some troops on the field, and I did what I had to do. These guys are coming straight up. Again, not the best guns in the world. But they're at an advantage. These guys are in the water, and these guys are in the trees. I feel like I should do something with these guys, but I don't trust that there's not something down here, so... And these guys are certainly holding their own, so there's no real reason to move any of these troops over there until I really see a problem. They're doing really well. This guy had over 2,000, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong, but it was high. It was... Yeah, he's just sitting there taking it. I have got to move this guy a little bit forward just so he can share in the fun. These guys are driven back. I mean, that's a fairly decent sized one. That's a fairly decent sized one. But these guys have really been reduced. Another shot off on these guys, too. That would be nice. That would... So, yeah, this is going a lot better than had I sent all these troops forward and, you know, tried to take them in here. Yeah, on there. They're definitely holding their... They're definitely holding this. Unfortunately, the next part of the battle gets a little dicier than this by a lot. But it's nice to see... It's nice to see that this is going so far so good. These guys... Just as they're getting across the river, getting just all these guys are just hammering on them. Now they're falling back. They're falling back. These guys are stupid enough to show themselves for a moment. I think they will be destroyed. I do have to say I'm a little concerned about them, so I'm going to move these guys this direction. In fact, I'm going to move these guys to here. I don't trust this game sometimes. If you do this type of thing will happen. It'll like show the flank to the enemy the entire way, and they're going to be routed before and lose, you know, 300 people before they actually get to where I want them to go. We have another charging set of troops, but again, they're in the water. They're getting hit by multiple brigades. It's just not a tenable location to be at. Again, we'll move these guys down to here. All right. So we have managed to hold pretty well here. I believe this was the position that Sherman took, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the logical stopping point for this particular video. And if you like the video, please click the like button and watch the next one. Also subscribe so you can be alerted to when the next one is uploaded. Thank you for watching, and be safe.